Hello guys, welcome to New Beginnings with Imani. I'm your host Imani, and today we are continuing with the topic conflicts in relationship. We were to discuss each and every root cause in a deeper level, and today we are starting with one, which is selfishness. So I want to ask you a question. What is selfishness according to you? Can you define selfishness according to you? Because everyone has a definition. And the next question is, do you think you're selfish? It's a hard one though. Do you think you're selfish? So we had talked about some root causes of conflicts in relationships, and we mentioned a few, and today we are going to talk about selfishness. So what is selfishness? According to me, because I asked you a question in the beginning, like, can you define selfishness according to you, like your definition? What is selfishness according to you? So according to me, selfishness is when a person is not considerate. He's only after his or her own desires alone. And if something doesn't favor him or her, then that thing is not okay. Selfishness is holding one's self-interest as the basic or the standard of decision making. Because if anything doesn't favor this person, then any decision made without him or her being favored, that decision, he thinks or she thinks that is not valid or is not okay. So it is holding on to one's self-interest. You are after your own interest only. You are after your own interest only, without considering other parties, what they think, their opinion and all that. So that's according to me. I can define that. Selfishness is holding on to one's self-interest as the standard or the basic standard for decision making. So every decision that are made should be based on your opinion or on your thinking. That is selfishness. This person always thinks or portrays that his or her decision or her opinion is always correct compared to the other party. If their opinion is what causes the decision making, then they are happy about that. And that is not good, because first of all, it limits you. Not only limiting you, but it also limits the other person, because the other person might be having a broader opinion or maybe a better opinion compared to yours. And maybe it cannot be best, but that opinion will help a lot in your decision making. So it's not okay for you to just go with what favors you. And the funniest thing is that they expect the other party to be always happy and to be always content and to be always okay with what they are doing. Every time they do that, they expect the other party to celebrate them and also to agree with them and be okay, not complain, not raise issue, no nothing. That is the funniest thing, because it's so ironical. If that thing is done to that person, he or she cannot take it because he is selfish. He cannot take some things, but he wants you to take that. And he feels like you are supposed to be okay. She feels like you're supposed to take it and be content with that. There is a side of this thing that happens when someone is selfish. He or she tends to compare himself. So whether it is in friendship relations or love relationships, this person will always compare himself or herself to other people. He or she doesn't want to see another person or anyone around him or her having something she or he doesn't have. Even if he cannot afford, even if she cannot afford, she doesn't want to see anyone else with the thing that she or he is not owning. That is selfishness. He or she always thinks that he deserves to have everything, not the other person. And even if the other person should have it, first it should be him or her before the other person could acquire that thing. That is selfishness. And a selfish person can even go to that extent of betraying you just because you have something they don't have, and just because you see something that they can't see. They can betray you, literally. And selfishness is not right. It's not good. It's not a good thing, because after you comparing yourself, competing with people, envying people, eventually you'll have bitterness at some point because of selfishness. Have you ever wondered why someone can just hate you, or when that person sees you, he's just angry or she's just angry at you? You don't know what you did. Maybe you never did anything. You never talked to that person, but he just hates you. She just dislikes you. Sometimes it's because they have an opinion about you. You didn't tell them anything. You didn't disclose anything about yourself, about your plans to them, but they just hate you from nowhere. It's because they have a certain opinion about you. Some have insecurities inside them, and they try to compare themselves to you, and that's why they hate you, or maybe they just envy you. It's because they have a certain opinion about you in them. Like, they told themselves some things about you which are not true. Most times it's because they try to compare themselves to you, or maybe to compare what you have and what they have, and that births something. It is a seed. Whatever you're thinking, it's a seed. You're planting a seed, and it grows slowly by slowly. At the end, it will be a big tree. It will be a big plant. Sometimes you might be unable to cut the tree down. You'll have to face the consequences. How can selfishness bring conflicts? It's because when you deny the other person or the other party from contributing to what you both are doing, it's like you are doing that thing alone, but you are having someone doing it together with you. But all the decisions, it's you who is making them. It can bring conflict in such a way that this other person will feel like he's not heard or she's not heard. She's not respected, or maybe she's not valued, or her suggestions or his suggestions doesn't make sense. Sometimes there are things that doesn't make sense, but you just listening, and si lazima ufuate kitu amesema, but you just listening to that person and telling that person, this is why we are not going with that, this is why we are going with this. It matters. So it can reduce conflicts. But what I always say is the conflict can be there, the friction can be there between parties, but how you handle it is what matters. Yeah. Because you can handle a matter in a way that the other party will feel like, okay, I'm respected. Even though my opinion was not taken, but it was heard. The word says that we should be considerate. We should not focus on our own interests alone. We should have that attitude of Christ. And Christ was not selfish. Christ was generous, so generous. Christ was so humble. Humility was in him. And selfishness, I can say it's not from God, because God was not selfish. He gave out his only son for us. So he wasn't selfish. He was so loving. That he was willing to give. So he gave. And a selfish person rarely gives. And when he or she gives, he or she is counting what is giving. He or she is counting what is giving you. Ukifanya tu kitu kidogo hivi, nilifanya hii, nikakufanyia hii, nikafanya hii, like he was doing it or she was doing it and counting all those things that she was doing or he was doing. When you are genuinely generous, sometimes you don't know when you helped a person, you don't know what you did to a person and it changed that person's life. But like, be generous too. Be generous without counting. Yeah, be kind. Don't count everything. When you help a person, don't count. Do it like willingly. If you're not willing, then don't give. If you're not ready to give, then don't give, because it starts from the heart. If your heart is not okay, then if you're giving, it will not do much. You're just giving because of giving, because you want to be seen you're giving and you're a giver. You give out of revelation. You give out of like the willingness of the heart. And how can selfishness be dealt with? First, according to me, I believe when we follow the footsteps of Christ, the characters that were in Christ Jesus. You know, I was reading Philippians 2, and there is a character that was in Jesus. There is that attitude of Christ, the attitude that Christ had. Even though he was God, he accepted to come down to earth, die a criminal's death, crucified and all that, died. Yeah, despite him being God, he decided to come in form of a human so that he can reveal God to us. That is the attitude of Christ. And understanding that attitude of Christ, it has helped me a lot, because I was reading, then I was like, sometimes, by the way, hawezi jua kama uko selfish. But when you sit down, you start analyzing yourself, you start looking at the things you are doing to the other people, and then you're like, yo, I'm selfish. It's not easy to accept that you're selfish. It's not easy, and to also know and to come to that realization that you're selfish. It's not easy. But when you read the word, I was reading that chapter and then I was like, what? Yeah, I'm kind of selfish in some way. So like I decided now to follow what the word says and the character of Christ, because he wasn't selfish. He was so humble. And the Lord lifts up the humble. So I know no one can accept that he or she is selfish, but you yourself, you know. Because me, I sat down, then I was like, okay, I'm doing this. I'm expecting this from this person. Yeah, I'm also not considerate about some things. I wrote down everything, all my expectations, what I was expecting from this person, and what I'm giving to this person or to this other party. Then I was like, well, I'm not reciprocating right. I am selfish in some way. So accepting that, then working on that, it's the key thing. I know you can't accept when someone tells you are selfish. You will in fact hate that person or maybe dislike that person. But you coming to that realization yourself, it helps a lot. You consider and you reconsider your ways and so much that you're doing and all the decisions that you're making. So it's a time where you have to just sit down with yourself, analyze your ways, reconsider your ways if necessary, and see how everything goes. Be humble, because selfishness sometimes can make you be proud about little things. So be humble, follow Christ's footsteps, and you will see an improvement. the end of the day. So that was all for today. Let's continue. Maybe the next time I will invite a guest to continue from there, or we'll see how it goes. Yeah, so stay tuned, stay blessed, stay safe. Till next time, bye bye.